so it's been
2 months.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
something
been
like
a
that.
minute since our last one. I think Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce was our last one. But OTD Nation, welcome back. Today's guest is someone that if you were to ask any Braves fan about this guest, the same look would light up in their eyes. And it's not just about the walk-offs or the big moments where the bat just seemed to find the hole and the ball find the hole at the right time, but the kind of player that the Braves Nation adopts as its own. It wasn't necessarily because of the stats or the things necessarily they did on the field, but it was his selflessness, the way he carried himself. He was willing to fill any position and go anywhere that was needed. And even more so, it is his life that he has tailored off the field that makes him the man that he is today. Sitting down with the husband, dad, the believer, a Georgia boy at the center of it all, Charlie Culberson. Welcome to Outside the Diamond.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I feel it's a long time coming. We've been working on this for a while, and I'm glad that I'm here.
Well, we talked about, when did you guys do that alumni event? Was that in April or May? Or is it June? When you guys did your first little...
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, but, hey, good things come to those who wait. So just jumping right into it. So first off, I said it in the cold open, but the Braves country obviously loves you and loves everything about you. So when you think about Atlanta and this fan base, like, what is the first thing that comes to mind to you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt the love from Braves country. Maybe not so much the front office. We kind of joked about that earlier, but that's business and part of it. But yeah, growing up in Rome, we all grew up a Braves fan. It was a fun team to watch in the 90s and 2000s as a young kid. They were easy to root for. Went to a few games, not a ton, but just something about putting on a Braves uniform. And you could tell that the Braves fans care and love their team. Yep. When all these new things happen and new managers hired or new signings and free agents, they let guys walk. There's so many people that always have input, and I feel like that's a good thing because so many people care.
Yeah.
And we live in the Marietta area, so we're always out and about. And most times people, recognize you and say something nice. I don't think I've had anyone tell me anything bad, which is good. But no, it's great to be a part of the community and a community that loves this team.
Yeah. So growing up, obviously you grew up in Rome, but your dad had his own baseball story. So from that perspective of the son maybe wanting to follow in your father's footsteps, so what did your dad teach you really about the game? Was it, I'm sure if you were anything like him, there was, from him, that perspective with us, there was no pressure from him ever that we had to follow in his footsteps. So did he just give you more so guidance, or was it just love and support?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of everything. My dad was drafted by the Giants in 1984, went to Jacksonville State University, and going into college, he was a walk-on, so he had to work for it. And then he was a 16th round pick, and so then he kind of had to keep working for it, right?
Yeah.
Played a few years in the Giants organization, signed with the Royals, actually won a batting title in high A, hit 320 that year in 1987. So that's pretty special. Yeah. I mean, even at any level.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't a power guy, but he was a speed guy, played outfield. But I think the biggest thing that he kind of taught me, and he was my coach. He was obviously who I looked up to. My mom gave me all the support. My dad did as well, but he taught me a lot by leading by example.
Yep. Yeah.
After he got out of baseball, he kind of helped open up a baseball facility in Rome. Mm-hmm. And so if I didn't have practice, I was always at the cages, putting in tokens, hitting, and they'd always joke with me that the owner, who's a good friend of our families, is kind of he's like another dad. Eddie Ashworth, they would always get mad at me because I had all the tokens in my pockets. And when customers came in, they went to buy their tokens. Charlie, I was 6 years old in the cages hitting. But just seeing my dad work, his work ethic, sometimes there was times where he had 2 and 3 jobs, just trying to provide for his family.
Yep.
And so I think that was probably the biggest thing that I learned from him is the constant kind of grind, but he was doing it for us, myself and my sister, my mom. So I think that leading by example was probably the biggest thing that I got from my dad.
Biggest takeaway
On the field, was he harder on you than he was on the other kids, or did you get the coach's son pass?
No, he was hard on me. He was hard on me, and more so when we were working. When we were in the
Nice.
cages. I think it was harder on my sister because she was hard headed like he was. And so I have an older sister who's 4 years older than me. So I was able to learn from her what to do, but mostly what not to do.
what not to do. Yeah.
Don't say these few things to your dad because he'll get on to you. But no, I mean, I respected him. You know, I was afraid of him in a good way. I kind of feared my dad in a good way, kind of like fearing the Lord.
A reverence, yeah.
But like, you know, I wanted to make him proud. I wanted to make him happy, but more so just proud.
Yeah.
And he knew that I had the ability, not just in baseball, but, you know, in other sports, but trying to be a good person, good kid, respectful. And I wanted to respect my dad because I saw the hard work that he put into work, life, day to day. And as a kid, you don't have many things that you're doing, right? You got school, go outside and play with friends. But when I was at the cages or on the field, I was there to work.
Yeah.
Right.
And he taught me that. And so I didn't want to hear my dad raise his voice. And so I put in the work.
Right. Well, I found that out as a coach. The only time I ever raised my voice was at practice. Because when you're working on something, fundamentals, don't screw around, guys. This is going to lose games. During the game, enjoy. Just let your talent take care of everything. But in practice, these things matter, and you're going to lose games because you're screwing around. And you see it in the World Series every year.
Oh, yeah. It comes to light. Everything's magnified.
Things
The little things.
that they work on every day. PFP. They work on it every day.
Yeah.
Spring training, every day. Every day. Ball back to the pitcher, he throws it. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, those are, and probably in practice, we're having fun at it's slow motion, not game time motion. He ended up throwing it away.
So obviously in Braves country, and I think in the South in general, family and faith are a really big deal. So what do those two things really look like in the Culberson household when you were a kid growing up? Obviously, your faith is something that you stand very firmly on, as do all of us. So I'm kind of interested to get your take on how that affected you and what that looked like in your household growing up.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I got baptized like twice. I remember. I mean, I feel like that was just the right thing to do, and you didn't really truly understand it, but we made an effort on Sundays to go to church.
Yep.
And I had really close friends and their parents who kind of made me feel like one of their kids, that I would go to church on Wednesday nights. And as a youth, it was, we're going to go to church, we're going to go eat, we're going to go do a Bible study together. So it was another way to kind of get you around the right people.
Yes.
And then afterwards, we played football outside. So it was like all the best things. It was the Lord is what should be at the forefront of what our days are about. Fellowship, friendship, food, and sports. And so it worked. And so my parents did the best that they could to keep us on that routine.
Grounded. Yeah.
And so whether it was right or wrong, that's how I grew up. And again, sometimes it's hard to keep our lives aligned how we should keep them aligned. As a husband, as a father to 3 kids, everyone's busy. Recently, I say recently because that's kind of where I'm at right now, is trying to get things to where, life is busy and fast, but how do I write things down? How do I make things the most important? How do I keep life not so stressful? Making goals are huge, but what's the most important thing? And then go down the list.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds similar to, yeah. I mean, well, when he got out of baseball, he didn't open a business, but got right back into coaching. It was gone 9 months. So when he was home, my mom took on that that responsibility. So basically, we were almost raised by a single mom, like gone 9-10
Yeah.
months out of the year.
Yep.
But my mom, whether we hated it, whether we were kicking and screaming, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and he always kind of made it a point. My mom made it a point, and he kind of piggybacked off of it all the time, that the identity is not in what we did. Like, God gave you guys an ability that you worked on, obviously, to play a sport, but that's not your entire identity. You're more than just what happens on, inside those hash marks. So that's nice to hear that. But looking back at a younger version of you in Calhoun, so what part of him do you hope that you've never lost? Like that drive as a young child growing up playing sports.
What part of my dad?
No, for
Oh,
you.
my younger
Yeah.
self.
Yeah. If you look back at your younger self.
I was a kid that was always smaller, and everyone grew, and I went through puberty later. I was a small kid, so I had to work. But I think what my parents, what my mom taught me,
Yeah.
and she still tells me to this day is like, if I see a kid out there, go sign for them, go say hello, take the time, just appreciate what you have and what you're given.
Yeah.
Don't take days for granted or moments for granted.
Yeah.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
I tell my daughter, when I drop her off at school, I usually take my two youngest kids to school. My wife takes my oldest to school, but I tell them, I say, hey, be a light today. Be a light for somebody else.
That's
Yeah,
good.
you never know the kind of impact you can have on someone just by how you carry yourself, how you respond to situations, and even more so for them, they're under the microscope. But we had to live under a microscope, having a professional ball player, the dad. So everything you say and do kind of reflects on you guys. And then you having a professional dad, everything that you said and did, how you carried yourself, how you worked, kind of built off everything that your parents taught you as well. So, I mean, it obviously shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think things are magnified a little bit more, and I knew that in kind of a smaller town in Rome. Like a lot of people knew who Charles Culberson was. He was a guy who played professional baseball. He has a younger brother that played up to AAA in the Braves organization. Calvin Culberson went to Armstrong Atlantic State in Savannah, and so he was in Richmond, Pulaski in '88 maybe.
Really?
Yeah, played with Wohlers, and I think he was drafted with the same year that Avery was drafted. But yeah, our family was, people knew our family in Rome.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I kind of had to live up to
that expectation.
Expectation is standard. But I didn't really feel pressure.
Right.
I just felt like it was the right thing to do. Like it's a privilege to be able to, live up to certain standards. Like we didn't grow up in a mansion. We didn't grow up going to private schools. It was public school. It was a small house. My parents grinded. They worked.
Yep.
They showed me what hard work was.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. Like I still do it to this day. Like if I get a plate of food, just something as simple as this. Pray over it. But I'm eating my plate of food. I saw my mom. I would go to the grocery store with my mom once a month, and we get 2 carts full of groceries because she got paid. And when she made dinner, we'd always have leftovers, whether it was spaghetti or lasagna, you name it. But if she put a plate of food in front of me to eat, I'm eating my food.
Yeah.
And so just kind of a respect thing. My mom worked. She came home like a lot of moms do, come home and cook.
Yeah.
I'm respecting her by eating her food.
Yeah.
So just little things like that.
Yep.
I didn't take for granted.
Dude, your story sounds so similar. Mom worked 2 or 3 jobs when you got out of baseball. You were gone. You were working 2 jobs. You would come home sometimes during the winter and coach at what was that batting cage that you always went to?
Sports-orama.
Oh, that was Jim Poole. Jim
So he
Poole
was
was
doing the
a
same
close
thing.
friend of mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you did talk a lot about small town, right? Rome, Calhoun area, right? You went to Calhoun High School.
I did.
And in high school, you were, everybody knew, like you said, everybody knew who your dad was. Were eyes on you when you were playing in high school? Like, were the expectations by others set on you? Did you feel any of that pressure to rise up to that?
Yeah, I mean, I came up living in Coosa, Georgia, which is just west of Rome. And after my 8th grade year at Coosa Middle, we made the decision to go to Calhoun. So I was out of district, and so like I had to had to be on my best behavior because you're out of district. If you do something wrong, they could kick you out. And so again, I was a small kid. I had some ability, but I came into Calhoun, and I ended up beating out a senior at second base. And I remember pretty vividly, our head coach Chip Henderson just said like he wasn't going to play favorites, but he was going to play who deserved to be out there.
Yeah.
And so from the get go, like there was a lot of people on my side, but there were some people that were upset. Like there's a senior that he ended up playing some center field, but wasn't playing second base. And so I knew that I had to go in and work, do what was right, be a good person, be on my best behavior, but show these people that, we are a good family. We're good people. I'm here to help this team out and excited to be at the school. So, I feel like I lived up to those expectations, but more so like off the field. Like I wasn't trying to get into trouble. I was trying to do my schoolwork. I love school. I love studying. I love being a good student, and just a really good, close-knit community in Calhoun, which I appreciated. And I've, grown up knowing that like that's a great place, and glad that I went to school there.
You had some great opportunities. I mean, Georgia Class AA Player of the Year. That's huge. And then you go and get drafted in the first round by San Francisco. So same team that your dad started off with. How was that moment? Like, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, our senior year, we had 2 other guys get drafted that year. Another friend of mine, Josh Smoker, he was supposed to be like a top 10 to 15 overall pick. And he had some arm injuries or arm troubles that year. His velocity was down some, but he was the 31st overall pick in 2007 by the Washington Nationals. I was the 51st pick by the Giants. And then another friend of mine, Brody Pullen, was a 33rd round pick by the Reds. So we had 3 guys get drafted. Brody, he was a guy that from 12 to 14 years old, we traveled the country and played in Puerto Rico when we were 12. Brody was the big kid, but he was probably the best athlete, best baseball player I'd ever seen, and probably in the country for a few years.
Oh, wow.
And he set the high school record at the time. I think he might have tied or just beat Micah Owings at 25 home runs in a season. Wow. Hit 4 home runs in a game. And so it was great. We'd have 50 to 60 scouts at our games in Calhoun. And so it was fun. I just knew going to school, like obviously get your schoolwork done, but hey, today you're getting checked out 30 minutes early because you're hitting in front of scouts before pregame.
Yep.
And so it was a fun time. It was just something that as a kid, that's what you dream for, right? Is like those big moments, and it was there, and we had a blast with it.
And you being the first round pick, I mean, that's your dream. Did you feel the pressure early on, knowing that you go into the same organization as your father? And like, what did your dad say when the Giants are the ones that picked you?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. The Giants were one of the teams that we really didn't talk to that much. And you hear stories, it's like, yeah, so-and-so or these few teams, I thought one of these couple teams were going to draft you. And then somebody comes out of left field and comes and snags you.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we did have some conversations with the Giants. But yeah, it was a great moment. That's a time where I think it was the first year maybe they had the first round of top 30 picks on TV, and all the other ones were on computer. And so we got a call right before they picked me, and we had a few people over at the house. So it was a fun day that we could enjoy together. But a week later is when I signed, and then I was off to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
And it was hot. It was hot out there. And I remember taking my bags to the Days Inn Hotel and walking through. It was 110 degrees, dry heat, but still it's hot. And thinking, all right, what did I do? I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Something I love school. I would have went to school if I had to, but I wanted to play and I got the chance. But it was a big step. First guy I faced in live BP was, a Latin player, and he was throwing 96 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember breaking my bat and almost breaking my thumb. And I'm like, Oh boy, this is gonna be a
Transition
ride.
from
This is gonna be
metal
oh
to
man,
wood
and
is a big thing.
that was a big thing, and then
Yes.
getting to know that there's guys that throw low to mid 90s and even upper 90s, and
Right.
they don't know where it's going either.
Right.
And so it was a big test, but it was something that, as a kid, that's kind of what you work for. You condition for those types of tests, and I feel like my parents did a good job in getting me ready.
Yeah, and you were no slouch for hard work. I mean, you were ready to put in the work at any point, and that brings up, you bring a lot about traditions, things values that you carry with you through high school and even pro ball. So, well, what part of that small town Georgia, Rome, Calhoun, did you carry with you in a pro ball? How'd that help you out?
Ooh, I think just the grit, just knowing where I grew up, how I grew up. Again, it was, I guess you could say, privileged, but not like over the top.
Yeah.
Like I had my needs were met always. Like I was always fed. I was always shown what hard work was. Back to the guy that helped open up the first strike zone in Rome. His name was Eddie Ashworth. When I would talk to him on the phone over the years, he would just say, remember where that kid grew up, 17 Atwood Drive, Rome, Georgia. Like he would always say, hey,
Right.
that kid's still there. And so he would say it kind of jokingly, but it was just like, never getting on to me, but it was just fun to just remember where you came from.
Yeah.
And so it was just a good reminder. And so I feel like I did a pretty good job of doing that, but it wasn't just me, right? It wasn't me that was doing it. It was like the people that I had around me. It was my sister, it was my parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, best friends, people that you can call back and, not necessarily just talk about baseball. It was like, hey, how are you doing?
Right.
And so that kind of keeps you grounded. And I feel like I had a really good group of friends and family that always kind of kept me grounded.
They had a great village around you.
Oh,
That's
you
that
have to.
Foundation. You're talking about whether it was right or wrong for your parents to take you to church. They were right.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because the foundation and the foundation of you seeing your dad work hard really helped you get through I've seen a lot of number ones, a lot of pressure to be a number one.
Mm-hmm.
And just assume that they were going to be the best guy on the field. But when you get to Scottsdale, Arizona,
everybody,
that guy was the best in California, the best in Arkansas, the best. I mean, that's where the hard work pays off. You get better, and you're able to work yourself through some struggles.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you don't have good work habits, you fall by the wayside.
You're done.
You fall by the wayside quick too.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys too. I mean, I was a supplemental first round pick, so I had opportunities. I had more chances than a lot of other guys, and some other guys, some picks that were higher than me probably had more chances than me.
Right.
But I had a lot of chances, and I was grateful for that. But I feel like guys kind of earn that
That's
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
And then it was always great to see guys that weren't drafted and they get a shot and they just roll with it.
And here we go.
Well, they play hard with a chip on their shoulder.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Always.
And that was great to see. Yeah.
Last round of the last
The
pick
Brave,
of the last round.
I'm going to say another guy.
Well,
Marcus Giles. He's a nut. But 50th round, he might have been 60th. Played with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And that got him through the minor leagues. They always, in the minor leagues, they were talking about trust the process. And I used to tell them, no, dominate the process. You got to be the process. You want people to look at you and say, this kid can play.
He's different.
He's different.
Yeah.
you remember what Bruce
It
said?
separates a lot.
Remember what Bruce said? He saw who's the shortstop for Cincinnati. He said, I saw him take 3 swings, and I immediately knew. He made a phone call and said, someone needs to get this guy right now.
Kid can fly. Got a great arm.
They-
What's
they,
his name?
uh,
Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Ellie
Oh,
De La
yeah.
Cruz, yeah.
And he said it was just men above boys
I bet.
about how he could
Yeah.
play. And guys like you when you play with a chip on your shoulder, just based off everything he's ever talked about and everyone that I've ever talked to in professional baseball, you can tell. Whether it's via hard grit and hard work, like Marcus or De La Cruz, that it's just God given. But you can always tell. Always.
Yep. Or Mike Piazza, who was a favor sign for Tommy Lasorda.
Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
And really the greatest hitting catcher ever.
Hall of Famer.
And you know the pitching with the Mets, with Piazza behind the plate, the ERA was down.
Was it really? Okay.
It was lower. And he was better off throwing guys out from here, but he tried to get here.
Because someone probably asked him to get over the top.
Right.
Yeah.
He was massive, too. He couldn't fit through that door right there. I mean,
These great stories.
I hated to see him come up.
I bet.
But he had to work.
Yeah.
He didn't just – he had to work. He knew he had to work. And it's not really playing with the chip on the shoulder. It's just I got to work to get better.
Yeah.
Hard work works.
So fans see the big league lights, but they, it's a similar theme across everyone we've ever talked to, and everyone just grown up with him, spending summers in Macon and in Richmond. They don't see the minor leagues. Like everyone just sees the big league lights, what's on the camera. That's just a flash in the pan of everything that you guys did work growing up, high school, and then getting into the minors. So, do you happen to have any stories or something that really stands out to you about that grind that really captures what the minor leagues are like?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it before when I got here this morning about the minor leagues and how they've changed pretty dramatically with, the pay for these guys. Yeah. I remember, again, I had a little advantage because I had a little signing bonus, and that was great for a kid from Atwood Drive. But a lot of guys didn't get that.
Yeah,
and then you're clearing every 2 weeks like $550 a paycheck, and you're only getting paid for 5 months out of the year. And so you're essentially you were paying to play baseball, which was pretty wild. But I remember going to Augusta, Georgia in 2008 for my first year of pro ball and excited. First year, I'm in Augusta, just over 3 hours away from home. And then when we get there, it was like, hey, you got 3 days practice, but you got to go find a place to live. So go find a place to live with some guys. So we ended up finding a 4-bedroom, like apartment townhome. 5 of us lived there. We had a guy living in the living room on an air mattress.
Right.
That's awesome.
And he paid a little less. But I think it was like $150 a month that we paid. Then we had utilities and all of that. But I do remember one guy, his name was Ramon Corona. He went to NC State. He's from the Miami area, and I think his dad was a big insurance guy in Miami, and I think his dad was really close with Alex Rodriguez. And so A-Rod and Ramon were pretty close to one another. Right. I think they trained together some. But Ramon's dad, I think he was Ramon Sr., was very generous. And I remember when Ramon picked his buddies that they were going to live together, his dad came in and just wrote a check for the whole year. That way all the guys didn't have to pay, which it would have been maybe $1,000 total, but that was $1,000 back in their pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And that was technically a big chunk of their minor league salary.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome. A guy that was like helping some of these young guys out. That way they didn't have to worry about it. So that was pretty amazing to see that. But for us other guys, like, I mean, it's $150. We're probably paying $200 a month for a place that you're only at half the time, which is tough. But I do remember, like, when you're at home, you're going to the gym. We were going to the YMCA. We didn't have the weight rooms in the clubhouse.
That's right.
And so a lot of the Latin players who I became really close with, they would hop in the back of my truck, in the bed of my truck. And I think we had 10 guys that I would take to the gym.
Right.
And so I had a responsibility, and that was the minor league life where, it's not like you could just skip a workout. You had plans and a program that the team set up for you.
Right.
Like you had to be there on a certain morning on a homestand, and if there were 2 series, you were at home for a whole week, you had to be at the gym at least twice. And so I would take guys to the gym, back to the apartment complex, and they lived at a different one. So I'd have to go pick them up. And then on the way to the field, I would go pick them up on the way to the field and take them, and they'd hop in the back of my truck. And that was just part of the minor league life. And you're paying $4 a day in dues. You know, you have your young clubhouse guy. We had a guy that would grill us burgers on a George Foreman grill. That's right. Inside the clubhouse.
Yep.
You know, it was cheap stuff. And
It's
you
not-
did.
it's
I mean,
not
the
what
whole
people think.
the whole clubhouse would smell of hamburger meat. I guess it could have been worse, or hot dogs.
Yep.
But we were paying $4 a day in dues, and then you would have to tip on top of that. But you took care of your guys that took care of you. And looking back on it, I was grateful for all those times, because in the minor leagues, that's when I feel like you're the closest with these guys. You do everything together. A lot of guys don't have families yet, especially at the lower levels.
That's right.
And so you're hanging out all the time. You become family.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated the grind looking back on it.
Yeah.
I do appreciate, I think Major League Baseball bought minor league baseball recently, right? Within the past few years.
Yep, they did.
And so they helped to restructure how guys were taken care of, housing, salaries. So I do appreciate that, and those guys having it, I'm not, maybe a little easier.
Right.
They still got to grind, though.
Yeah.
They still got to grind.
There's
but
still a grind, because you go from high school ball playing how many games you play?
yeah, 30 to 35 games.
Now 142.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a grind.
Yep.
Did you play at the ballpark by the lake?
Lake Olmsted. That's where I played. The new park is nice.
Death Valley.
Yeah, it was I mean, I didn't have much pop.
Yeah.
But when I
you
got
know,
into
you
one,
had
it wasn't going anywhere still.
Death Valley.
Yes,
Place.
Lake Olmsted. No great memories there. It was old field, big
Hey, listen,
field.
I coached there when the opposing team had a trailer to come. They'd come in and get dressed in a trailer. It wasn't a building. It was a trailer there.
I mean, that's
it was.
that sounds like Visalia.
Yeah.
Visalia was very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Metal bleachers, and then they might have been wood bleachers. Very old. The bathrooms, the showers, you all showered together. The showers would flood in Visalia.
That's right.
And so, like, if you weren't one of the first ones in there, then you're standing in water this high before
That's
it leaked
right.
out
Oh,
into
yeah.
the bathrooms and into the clubhouse. So it's
And they'd tell you to wear flip flops because of getting your feet wet and stuff like that. And wait a minute, this place is flooding.
You're
You know
walking.
what I
You're
mean?
walking through murky waters.
Bruce told us a story about what field was he talking about? Like the showers would always flood.
Oh, sorry, I said Visalia. I meant Bakersfield. My bad, Bakersfield.
Well,
was
that
the
might have
one.
been Charleston.
Was
We-
it
we had dirt
Charleston? He was
floor.
saying.
dirt floor.
They had wood slats in there.
So you really grinded.
But and it wasn't for everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of guys didn't like that, and but you fought through it. And when you get to the big leagues, it's the big leagues.
Yeah.
And now minor league baseball has updated all the fields. I mean, the field in Augusta is.
It was very nice.
I'd
I was
like
there
to-
last August.
I'd
It
like
was,
to play on that
yeah,
field.
oh, no doubt. And that's a cool little area right there in North Augusta.
It's
And
great.
the field's beautiful. I didn't go in the clubhouse, but I would assume it's a little bit better than Lake Olmsted. But that's just kind of part of it. It's newer age, new times. These teams have money put into their young guys, so I'm glad with where it's going.
And you stayed with a host family
One time, I stayed with the host family in San Jose, California, which we were thankful for. I feel like they did that in certain areas where it was expensive. Like I would have definitely been paying way more than my salary in high A. But at the time, I was dating my wife now, Sarah, and they said if you had a significant other, you had to have been either engaged or married for them to live with you with your host family. Well, I had a ring, but I proposed to her maybe a few days early, or for her, it was probably 3 months too late. And so I proposed it towards the end of March in 2010, and she actually lived with us that year. And I had cousins on my mom's side in San Jose, California that we lived with, and they were a blessing. They were awesome. It was great. it was great.
What a service the host families do. They give you gift bags when you're making a road trip and just food bags
Yeah.
for the guys. They found out what you liked, and oh man, great. I hated it as a coach. I never got that.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
like, man, I'd like to have that right there. But and they had the Sunday cookouts for the guys in the minor league. And the greatest thing they ever did in the minor leagues was, we talked about it earlier, Monday off.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's huge the way they set up the schedule now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I got to experience it my last year playing in 2023 in Gwinnett, and having that Monday off. There was a couple times I think we were on the road for 2 full weeks, once or twice. That was kind of tough, but there was times where you were at home for 2 full weeks.
That's right.
Tuesday through Sunday games, only 6 games, and you're playing the same team that whole week. So that was kind of nice, and less travel, less time on the road, and more time at home. And that Monday off day was awesome. But after an early Sunday game,
right?
You almost had 2 full off days.
That's right.
In a row,
which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Even the big leagues have gotten the scheduling better.
Yeah.
When I first came up, we'd hit 5 teams. We'd hit the West Coast, hit Houston, and then Cincinnati, and then come back home.
That's a lot.
Oh,
that's a lot.
Your suitcase was packed so you couldn't even get it, shut. But that's just the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get home, and you got to play that night.
And the worst was when you're on a long road trip and you get home and for one series,
right?
And you're back on the road.
Here we go.
Yep, that was tough.
Yeah, but it's gotten better.
But you got home. You played that next night.
We played that night.
But yeah, but
we didn't have a day off.
A lot of times I wasn't starting, so I was going in later in the game, so I had extra time to recover.
Well, yeah, but as a guy that comes off the bench,
you had to be ready.
You got to be ready. It's a different mindset
from pitch one.
Right.
From pitch one, because there were a few times where somebody got hurt first inning, and it's like, hey.
What? Yeah, I'm going in?
Yeah. Or there was a time where Kurt Suzuki got hurt his first at bat in the first inning. He came out of the game. Tyler Flowers went in. He took, I think he took a foul ball off the hand in the 4th inning. So I was utility. So I was backup emergency everywhere. And they're like, hey, you might have to go in to catch.
You were going to go in to catch?
Well, before that, I had all the catcher's gear. I had everything. I had a catcher's mitt, but I was nervous. Because if it's the 9th inning, whatever, 8th or 9th inning, but it was a 4th inning, and Tyler should not have stayed in, but he did for my sake and probably for the pitcher's sake. But I realized after I kind of gotten the hang of the utility, spot, like you can't be checked out, because once you check out, that's when they call on you. So mentally, you have to be almost thinking like the manager, thinking like a bench coach, thinking ahead.
That's right.
So yeah, you even though I wasn't starting, a lot of my pregame work was my game.
Yep.
Ground balls, cage work, trying to get everything done before all the starters got in there. So I kind of treated that like my game.
When you came up, was the DH in both leagues?
No, the DH was just American League.
So you had to be ready just in case they pitch in for the pitcher.
I loved it. I got to the point where I loved it.
Pinch hitting?
I loved it.
Well, you had some.
I had some.
You had 4 or 5, 6 walk-offs.
Well, out of my first 8 career home runs, 4 were walk-off home runs, and so I think I hit and this was parts of a few years because I was kind of up and down, wasn't hitting many home runs. And it was in 2018. I had 2 pinch hit walk-off homers with the Braves. And then I ended up hitting 12 that year, and the most I had in a season. And after a few more home runs after my second walk-off, Walt Weiss came up to me. He's like, hey, man, you got to slow down. Like, we got to get the percentage back up. You're not hitting walk-offs. Like, what are you doing? And so I had 4 walk-off home runs in my career out of 30. But through the first 8, there was 3 of them were pinch hit.
Home runs are great, but walk-offs are just,
it's
a special.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of hard to draw that one up. It's
I got to against Nationals, I believe, kept you guys in first place.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
big series.
It was big. They were, that was fun. But I realized, like, being on certain teams with certain guys, like Kurt Suzuki was a big guy I looked up to in Atlanta. He caught, but there was times where Tyler was catching maybe a little bit more. And so we kind of rallied around each other. Or Matt Joyce was in 2019 where we did a lot of things together, prepared together, and we were all ready together. And once you get in a mindset of like being ready, and then pinch hitting is one of the toughest things to do, I kind of got to where I was thinking it's a win-win for me. I'm not supposed to get a hit. A lot of times I'm pitch hitting against good arms late in the game.
That's right.
I'm not supposed to succeed off this guy, but if you're ready and if you get a hit, then great. If you don't, you're not supposed to. So it's all good.
So it's still
Was your mindset go up there swinging, or were you up there? As a starter, you can see pitches. You get 4 at bats, 5 at bats. As a pinch hitter, you going up there. I better be ready to hit.
Yeah, because you don't have time to get your timing down.
That's right.
And so if it was a fastball and it was a strike,
swing.
Don't miss it. If it was an off-speed pitch in the zone, be ready. Like I always loved hitting off a fastball. But yeah, you don't have and then looking back at the times that, you took a fastball for a strike.
Ooh.
Or even you took an off-speed pitch that was the one to hit early in the count. And then after the bat's over, you struck out. It's like, well, I took a cookie. I took a pitch to hit. And so, yeah, I never wanted to go back and say I wasn't ready. And there were a lot of times where I wasn't ready, but you have to tell yourself, be ready to hit.
Be ready. That's the biggest thing I saw in the minor leagues as a coach. And I wasn't a hitting coach, but excuse me. Guys, I would mark down how many fastball strikes we were taking. 35 strikes.
What are you waiting on?
Fastball strikes in the game. And man, what am I doing wrong? Taking.
Yeah.
Swing the bat. You can't miss those because invariably an umpire is going to call a bad one.
Right.
Guy's going to make a nasty off-speed pitch on you. Now you're up a creek. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
And don't miss the fastball.
Yep.
Well, you've heard that wise man, that wise saying, right? Man who watched fastball go right by, bound to swing it, curveball.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know Bobby Dews?
No.
Okay, he used to say, Confucius say, man who take fastball down the middle, soon swing it curveball in the dirt.
I mean, that's true. That was me a lot too. That was me a lot.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Were you told to take the pitches though? Were you told to take them, or you?
There were times, certain parts of the game, like you had to take, like they gave you a take sign, or like it was a quick, or there was a long inning, and your pitcher's still in the game, and like got to give them time to rest. Like take a pitch, that's different. But most of the times it wasn't.
Oh no,
you weren't taking.
Oh
no.
It was so bad that Joe Morgan, Hall of Fame, second baseman. I got down to second one time. Said, kid, what are you doing? Taking all those cookies down the middle? I said, my manager's giving me the take sign. 2-0? Yeah. 3-1? Yeah. You got to hit. You got to swing the bat.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I did that once. Bobby Dews, he's a beauty. 1-0 count, got me or 2-0 count, take. All right. 3-1 count, take. So 3-2, I'm staring at him. After the inning, he says, what were you doing staring at me 3-2? I said, apparently the guy was wild 2-0, 3-1. You wanted me to take 3-2 too.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. You go up there to hit. You got to swing the bat.
No doubt.
In high school, you didn't miss. If a guy threw it right there, you didn't miss it.
Yeah.
Right. They call it hitting for a reason, but analytics gets into it nowadays. It's like they got you looking for stuff on certain counts.
Yeah, I feel like certain guys could do that, but most guys be ready to hit a fastball.
Do you know the greatest guest hitter? Chipper Jones.
Really?
He would sit there. But it was an educated guess.
Right, right.
He knew how the Reds were going to pitch him. He knew how Houston Astros were going to pitch him. With nobody on, and then with guys on, he'd sit up there and he'd take and looking for off speed. Take a seat. Guy got on second. He's looking off speed. Whack! Here it come. He was great. He was phenomenal.
Hall of Famer. I mean,
yeah.
Another guy I played with, Charlie Blackman, was like that. Very cerebral, very smart, Atlanta kid. I played with him in Colorado, but he would study, and he was a percentage guy, and he would go up there and sit pitches, certain counts, certain teams, certain pitchers, certain situations, and so it would adjust from pitch to pitch, and he was very, very good at it and had a great career. I couldn't do that. I wasn't
right.
Maybe I didn't allow myself to do that, but I needed to try to hit off a fastball.
I just didn't think about it back then. But, Colorado, what a great place to hit, though.
Yeah, I just wasn't good there, so it didn't help me out.
Did you play a lot?
No, it was my my first year. I made the first team I made out of spring training was in 2014. Walt was the manager. I never was a utility player, so that was an adjustment.
That's an adjustment.
I think I was 3 for 27 or 28 to start the year. But then I came in late in the game, pinch hit, walk-off home run. That was my first one, and that was a big moment. But I felt like I was playing catch-up the whole year, especially offensively. Again, looking back on it, my swing wasn't that good. And then just being a utility player, not playing a ton, getting spot starts, pinch hitting. It was a grind, but I feel like I did a really good job on defense, filling in there, but
that's right.
It was utility spot, and guys that aren't used to it, it was hard.
Hitting is different because if you get 100 consecutive at bats, you start, you miss a pitch, then you foul it off, and you get to where I'm not going to miss that pitch now. Pow, pow. As a guy that plays once a week or spot start, you miss pitching. How did I miss that pitch? Well, I don't have consecutive at bats.
Mm-hmm.
Law of averages.
Yeah.
Did you like Walt?
I loved Walt.
Yeah.
I love Walt. It was funny. I first got called up with them in July of 2013, and they were coming to Atlanta, so I got to play at Turner Field with the Rockies, and so I think we were 1-8 on that road trip. When we got back home, we had a team meeting, and I saw a side of Walt that I was scared of Walt because he's like an MMA fighter, trainer, did it when he played, and I was like, man, I respect this guy, but I'm scared of this guy. Yeah. And I've told that story before, but we had some great players on that team. Todd Helton was on that team, Michael Kadire, Troy Tulowitzki, Carlos Gonzalez, guys with like so much talent. And but yeah, love playing for Walt. Probably a tough place to manage in Colorado. Hard to win, obviously. Right. Not really sure what the recipe is over there, but I'm looking forward to watching him next year.
I was his first second baseman.
Okay.
As a rookie.
Yeah, okay.
With Oakland. And then at the end of his career, he came to Atlanta to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the first base coach. So I played with him, and then I coached him.
That's awesome.
I love Walt. I love everything about him. He got great preparation.
Yeah. I'm excited for him next year, too. I think I was listening to 680 The Fan, I think, and they were saying that he's just a dog. He's going to be bringing a different mentality in the clubhouse, and I'm excited for that. They said he's
got that personality.
Chipper's the one that said it.
You take him on, he'll put you in a suplex like that.
Yeah, well, I never experienced that, but I saw him talking about being a dog, seeing him in the weight room. Yeah. Like he is like the freaking eye of the tiger.
That's awesome.
Just like looking like he wants to eat weights. But yeah, preparation is huge. I think he does a great job.
Yeah.
He's quiet, which I think is a pretty great skill to have because he listens. And guys that are quiet are pretty smart too. He's very smart that I've noticed over the years. And I'm, again, 8 years as a bench coach here. He has history with the Braves and all the players. So I think it's great. I'm excited to watch him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Just keep all these guys healthy.
Yeah.
So moving out of, so we've spent a lot of time on your career, moving out of baseball. Charlie the man. So husband, father, believer. So when the stadium's quiet and all the noise kind of fades out into white noise in the background, who is Charlie Culberson in that space? When you're at home, when you're being a dad, when you are more than what? So like him as a player and him as dad, as two totally opposite ends of the spectrum. And
which is great.
Well, no, it's phenomenal because it's who you really
Yeah.
are outside of what you did for a job. It's just like me. If I go to a hospital and I'm taking care of patients, who I am and how I treat them, who I am there is very different than who I am here. So I'm just curious what Charlie Culberson's like, the real Charlie Culberson.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I was a competitor. I was a gamer. I was a gritty player. Maybe looking back, I feel like maybe I was too nice of a player sometimes, being too nice to people. But I definitely had that side to where I went out there and I feel like most fans or most people that watch me play, again, could say, or hopefully they would say that they saw me give it my all.
Yep.
Again, there were times I'm sure I was doing it for myself, but most of the time I was obviously doing things for the name on the front of my jersey, obviously for the name on the back too.
Yep.
Trying to represent both names with class, and just to show people that I was going to put the work in, and hopefully that showed on the field. Maybe not with the stats all the time, but it's different with everybody. But my wife, Sarah, she would tell me that she thought I did a really good job of keeping baseball separate from family life.
Great.
Which, I mean, it's very hard to do. There were there were times where like you're struggling at the park, or like you're not playing, and
it can bleed into.
Yeah, you have one start and you're 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, and then 2 weeks later you have 3 more pinch hit at bats, and you're 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts for a 2-week span. You feel like you're not contributing. I mean, sometimes that can be a grind. Or you're, 7 for 10 over 2 weeks with a couple home runs and nice plays, and it's like you feel like you're on top of the world. But I tried my best to be a constant for Sarah and my kids at the house when I was there. Even leaving the ballpark, like I tried to shut off baseball and try to be present.
So that's a perfect segue into this question. So obviously we discussed your faith, how that's grounded you just even from the beginning. So not so much as a slogan, but how has that anchored you through all the ups and the downs? Because obviously, I mean, you just talked about it. There are some days where everything's hot, and you're on fire, you're doing well, and then there's days where you're thinking about quitting. Like, did I really make the right decision? Yeah. So how did that faith really ground you throughout and carry you throughout your career? Because there was a lot of ups and downs. So if you're not grounded in who you are and what your faith is and who your faith is in, you can be easily led astray, and you can go a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in the Lord puts people in our lives for a reason. You're drafted at 18 years old. You're off to another state across the country. They put people into your lives, and then I think baseball did a really good job of having baseball chapel. And so over the years, having certain chaplains, Bo Mitchell was a guy that comes to mind in Colorado. He has a phenomenal story. His dad was Del Mitchell. He played in the big leagues for a long time. He was the last batter. He was struck out by Don Larson in the World Series, the perfect game that Don Larson threw. But his dad was, a big name in baseball for a long time. And then Bo was a great person to have lead chapels, and just how he conversated with us and talked about the Lord and how the Lord's blessed him and sent him through different battles. And then different chaplains that we've had along the way. Terry Evans here in Atlanta was a former baseball player, played in the big leagues. And then having guys like Walt Weiss in the baseball chapel, and Austin Riley being a fixture there in chapel, and Kevin Seitzer, another guy that I became really close with during my time in Atlanta, and Bobby Magianis. just certain guys that, you're away from family, you want to be around good people. But then, it wasn't all about baseball, right? It's about
your eternity, your eternal soul.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I was struggling mentally, and I don't think many people saw that. In 2018, I had a rough start to my first year in Atlanta, wanting to make people proud, happy for me. It was a big deal. It was like, want to make family proud, family, friends, and I wanted to do well. And a lot of times your stats, reflect that, as you know, right?
Yep.
So I came to Sites one day. It was in May of 2018. I said, hey, my swing stinks. Mentally, I'm not there. Like, I want to work. So he's like, all right, tomorrow, get here early. We'll hit in the cages before everyone gets here. 45 minutes later, we did not swing the bat one time. He basically witnessed to me in the cages, which was amazing. We both cried, and we hugged it out, told each other we loved each other. And from then on, like, mentally, I was just better. I was at a more of a clear headspace. And then on the field, I actually started doing better. I started performing, and things started doing better. And I told my wife that night, like, this is what happened. And, like, let me reverse. I told her the night before what I was going through. The next day is when I had the talk with Sites. And so I've actually talked about that when I stand up and talk to people, at banquets or, different places that I'm speaking at, because that was a big moment. And it was the Lord that brought us together. It was the Lord that said, Charlie, it's not your swing. It's where you're at in between your ears.
Yep.
And so what are you putting first? What's priority in your life? And again, it's I don't have it perfect by no means. I don't think we all do. None of us do, but it's a daily, I'm not going to say battle by no means, but something that we have to really focus on. And that's something that I have to focus on too with my,
you have to be intentional about your walk with the Lord, being in His Word, studying. And it's just funny that you said that. Tommy Gregg said the same thing when he was struggling with hitting. He was on his way to the ballpark, and he said, "Lord, if this is it,
Take
I'm
my
okay
eyes,
with it.
take everything.
Take my eyes, take my hands, take my feet. Just use them to whatever ability and whatever way you decide you want to use them. I'm yours." And from then on out, he played with a freedom that he had not played with ever before, and he started playing better. Andre King, who drafted with the Braves, then ended up, funny enough, leaving baseball, going and playing at the University of Miami with like Ray Lewis, Ed Reeves, got drafted, played in Cleveland. But he said one of the main highlights, he cried on this show talking about it, how God used sports to put men and people around his life. And he is still doing, he's like the chaplain for, what school? Is it Loganville Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, but he makes it a point.
It was through baseball chapel.
Yeah, from baseball
we had
chapel.
him in the minor. Snit was the manager down in Macon when I was a coach. We would cancel everything on
for
Sundays
baseball chapel,
so we could have baseball chapel in the dugout.
Because people, I think,
that
they lose sight of
set
what's
a foundation
important.
for Andre King. Bible says, take up your cross daily.
right.
It says, be careful for nothing. Wait a minute. I'm not supposed to worry about my 0 for 10.
I know. It's like, I kind of have to.
But and then it says, but in everything give thanks. Oh, I'm supposed to thank you for that.
Right.
But the next verse says, but the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will quiet you.
I think about just from his life and just I even love fitness. It's 1 Timothy 4:13. That's pretty bad. I should know this by heart, but it says, bodily exercise profiteth little, but the word of God is profitable for all things. And I try to keep that in perspective with, even though as much as I love to train and I think about his life, and you think about having conversations like this, that it's of eternal importance to keep the focus. And it's always amazing when I'm having conversations like this, that when you get to a point to where you're almost done, that God will put someone in your life to kind of open that door. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, dummy, I should have been doing this from day one. Like,
we can't do it all by ourselves. That's the thing.
No.
Right.
That's crazy that 2018 was your career year. You know, you kind of did a complete 180 after that moment, which is pretty fantastic.
So a lot of athletes, and this is gosh, a perfect segue into. So a lot of athletes talk about it, and I've had a lot of candid conversations with him. Like your identity. Sometimes as much as we've talked about how your identity is not in baseball, but when you hang up the cleats, something you've done since you were 5, 6 years old, and all of a sudden it gets to the point to where it's okay. We're getting to the end of the road here, and the routine disappears. What was the hardest part for you about stepping away from the everyday game and then trying to find kind of what you're doing now? Like, how did that all fall into place?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said routine in there. Routine, I feel like, is huge for everybody.
Yeah.
If you don't have a routine, life can get hard. And there was times where, like, you know, in the off seasons, my routine, I would mess up my wife's routine with the kids in the morning. Right. I'm
That's right.
You know, coming downstairs trying to help fix breakfast and do all this. She's like, no, just get out of the way. It's going to take you a few days to get going again.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. But I tried. I wanted to be there. But now, like, I think it helped me mentally stepping away from baseball because baseball kind of said, hey, Charlie, you're done, honestly.
Right.
Towards the end of my career in 2023, the Braves, I mean, they were setting records left and right offensively, and everybody was healthy. I think, you know, from Matt Olson to Ozzie to Orlando at short to Austin at third, Sean Murphy, like you had guys that were, I think they were all starting in the All-Star game.
Yep, they were.
And so
the entire infield started at the All-Star
Pretty
game.
much, yeah.
Yeah, so
Is that the year that everyone hit 30 dingers?
yeah, it was
Yeah,
20,
they had
20 plus?
6 players with 30, and everybody had over 20.
Yeah, so everyone was healthy. Everyone was doing well. I was in AAA in 2023. I came up just to kind of fill a spot. And after 5 weeks, I was designated. And then I came back up to fill a spot a week later for a month and then designated again. And so I was like, I kind of see where I was at in the Braves cards. Like, obviously, I wasn't in the plans. I was just filling a spot. So I called Alex and said, hey, can I go to AAA and just try to pitch? He's like, sure, that's a great idea. So long story short, I think putting the position player side to the, like in the past, I was able to close that door because I knew after I started pitching, I wasn't going to start taking ground balls and hit again. Like they actually told me in Gwinnett, like, hey, if you want to just jump in and take swings and all that and some ground balls, you can do that. I think I did that like twice.
Yeah.
I was kind of over it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because I knew where I was at mentally, and with my kids getting older, you know, I didn't want to go across the country and sign and go to a AAA team somewhere. And it was going to be an uphill battle from there. So I think trying to do the pitching thing made baseball fun again. But I said, hey, if this doesn't work out, I'm 34, almost 35. Like, I get it. I kind of see where I'm at, but at least I'm getting somewhat of a shot to do it. And then when that door closed, mentally, I was done. I might have shed a few tears leaving spring training complex in March of 24, just knowing that, like, hey, my playing career's done. At some point, it ends for everybody.
Yep.
And it was kind of tough. But after that, mentally, like, I was pretty good.
Pretty good.
I was pretty good. And again, I had my wife behind me, my family, my friends, everyone was behind me doing it, which helped. And I told my kids, like, hey, I want you guys to see Dad do something that's kind of hard too. Because if my kids see something that I'm doing that's different but hard, maybe it shows them, like, hey, life isn't easy all the time.
Right.
You got to do something that's tough. And so, mentally I was pretty good with being done with baseball. But then the transition to what's next, when people say, hey, we'll give you a call, like, we'd love for you to do this, we'd love for you to do that. No, that phone doesn't ring all the time. Oh, no.
It's fluff.
It is fluff.
Yeah.
And so, you would be so great in this, you'd be so great in that. And I've come to realize, like, for me, like, this is my career, this is my life. I can't wait. You can't wait on people to call you.
No, you have to go get it.
You have to go get it. And so you have to step out of your comfort zone and make calls and send emails and actually go face to face with people if you want to actually, you know, go do something.
Yep.
And so you can't rely on other people to put food on the table for you and your family.
So you enjoy what you're doing right now?
I do. I enjoy doing some of the TV stuff and radio for the Braves last year.
That's great.
What I've enjoyed is honestly just where I'm at with my life and my kids. Like, I don't know if I want to coach year round.
Right.
And so getting the opportunity to do some TV stuff and some radio and filling in, like, I'm really enjoying it, but I honestly don't want to just be a fill-in guy all the time.
Right.
And so something a little bit more constant, doesn't have to be every day, but I'm enjoying the process.
So that everything that you it's funny, every comment that you finalize, it's perfect segue into the next question. So what has God's been teaching you in this season of life after baseball?
How long do we got?
As long as you want, my man.
I feel like we never figure it out. We never figure life out. Recently, I've been trying to read a little bit more because it's always easy to get on our phone and scroll. I feel like that's just a way to pause life. I'm guilty of it. We all are.
Yep.
Bro, you get down the rabbit hole, and 3 hours later, you're like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Sitting here
My
all this
algorithm
time.
is all messed up right now.
I know. So I think he's telling me to be calm, to be still, to trust him and his process, to follow him. Don't stress. Why do we stress so much? Why don't need this and need that and need this? Like it was kind of cool yesterday. We have 3 kids, 13, 10, and 8. And life's busy, right? We have schedules, which is great. Schedules are great. But our kids didn't have anything after school. No sports, no dance. They didn't have to go do anything. We didn't have to drive. And my youngest is like, hey, are we going to go do anything today? I'm like, how about today we just play outside? So we shot basketball. She played with a friend next door.
Quality time.
We got an aerobie frisbee that my son Ace loves throwing. So he lost his in a big tree 2 days before. And he's like, hey, can we go buy another one? Well, I had one as a Christmas gift, but I'm like, I went and got the $10 aerobie.
Yeah.
And we opened it up and we started throwing. We threw in the front yard for an hour.
It's awesome.
But, we're in the car so much. We're driving so much. It's like sometimes it's nice just to like chill out and not have to go and do and just breathe. And I think that's what he's telling me right now is just to enjoy the day. Don't stress so much. It's going to be good. It's going to be fine.
Well, Jesus told Peter, and I think it was John, he said, even the sparrow, your heavenly Father knows that they are in need of food, and every hair on your head is numbered. So how much more do you think that your heavenly Father loves you and will provide for you if you just simply, sometimes it just requires being still.
Yeah.
To hear that voice and get that guidance.
And get chills from that too.
He opens doors.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whether or not we see him. I
Right.
think sometimes we're so caught up, and I don't want to go off on a tangent. Well, he knows I can go off when talking about scripture. I can legitimately go down a rabbit hole.
We'll miss workouts because he just gets into it. Yeah.
But I think that sometimes the Lord only allows, almost like the high beam or the lights on a car. So if you're driving at night, your headlights they only allow you to see a certain distance, right? So and the analogy for that is that God only allows you to see so far, because if you saw what was coming down the road, you might take a different route, but you have to rely on him to guide you and lead you down that path that he wants for you, because he knows what is in store for you and what he has in store for you. And sometimes if we get in our own way, we always go off the beaten path. And as we all know in our life, sometimes going off the beaten path, getting what we want or wanting what we want is not always the best. So it almost forces you to have to be still.
Mm-hmm.
So in order, like you're talking about it, he's just teaching you to be quiet, relax. He's going to provide. The Lord's always provided for you.
Always.
And it's amazing, isn't it? That like we know he's always provided.
Still tough.
Yeah, why do we keep
we still
I want to help you.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, we still panic, and it's just, I think we talk about that all the time. It's like, how is it that we trust him with our salvation, and we know that he's always provided. Like when he got out of baseball in '89, you were panicking about having a job. You were not going to come up to watch a game or something. That's
Little League game,
someone was hitting dingers,
and
You were?
He was, yeah.
no, he would get 3 hits, but they were all opposite field, which is great.
Yeah.
Toughest thing for
I joke because
to
at
get
that
a
age,
kid
I
to
never hit
do
dingers.
Gotcha.
I never hit
is
dingers.
go this way. Anyway, I went to the game to watch the game. I'm without a job. I don't have any idea. And a brave scout, Rod Gilbreth, says, "You ready to go back to work?" I said, "Yeah, yesterday." He said, "We might have a coaching job." I said, "Rod, a scouting job." I said, "Rod, I don't. You got something on the field, maybe?" Calls me back a couple days later. He said, "Listen, we just drafted a shortstop. We want you to go down to Bradenton, Florida, chipper." And so that's how.
30-year coaching career.
Got you back into
When
it.
I look back, not by chance, that was God ordained, me being at that ballpark, Rod Gilbreth being at that ballpark, us seeing each other, It's like when the Braves kicked me out of the
I was hoping you would segue into this story.
Of the
No,
fa-
this story
of our
highlights
family.
my mom being the kind of woman that
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
mom is. For people who know my mom, just saying
we were just
Lynn
we were
is
just
says enough as
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
My mom's very unique, but this story highlights the core of everything that my mom has been for this entire family,
Yeah.
our entire lives.
just in the playoffs against the Giants. We get beat. I get called in next day. We got no room for you. Just like that.
This was what year?
When Bobby retired, Frank
2010,
Grant told
right?
him that.
Okay.
Yeah.
2010, I
Okay.
think, yeah.
I asked, he said, "We're going to have a change at the top." I said, "That's fine. What about a minor league job?" "We got no room for you."
See ya.
Thinking 33 years?
Just like that.
"We got no room for you." So I came home. It was a Wednesday, church night. I said, "Babe, I don't think I need to go to church. There's going to be so many questions, She said, "Go hit some golf balls." On my way to hit golf balls, something says, "Where are you going to find peace? Hitting them golf balls or going to church?" Turned around, and by the time I got back home, the Royals had already called and offered me a job.
Wow.
Now,
Did you go to church after that?
I did.
Okay.
Now,
Where'd
If
you
I
find
keep go-
mom?
she was praying.
What, she wasn't at the driving range
No.
waiting on you?
No,
She was praying.
She was at home praying.
Wow.
And
She has like a prayer closet upstairs where she literally puts all of her prayer requests on a chair, and that's just her.
yep.
But that's testimony.
Now, if I
of how
keep
she
going to
is.
hit golf balls, do I get that call?
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
When you're able to look back. And having said that, when you look back and then you have a problem come up, you say, "Lord, I need your help." Well, I've helped you before.
Yeah.
Just trust.
Headlights on the car
It's hard to
trust.
trust.
It's hard to plan ahead too, because what you have planned isn't always
What
what's
he
going
has
to happen,
planned.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's a great story.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It,
It really is.
Well, we're about to wrap up here, Charlie, but I gotta ask a few questions. Just some rapid fire stuff here, really
All
quick.
right.
Just because people are gonna listen, they know you, they know your history with Atlanta. So better hair day, you or Dansby?
Oh, me all day.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's what I
come
thought.
on. Love Dansby, but his is a little poofy and wild. It looks good, but
Yours is a little bit more refined.
that's right.
Yeah.
Sophisticated.
Who is the funniest teammate you've ever had?
Ooh. Peter Moylan comes to mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
Peter's pretty funny. Like, his accent obviously helps. I'm sure after this is over, I'll probably think of somebody else, but
Right.
Peter's up there.
Okay. And if you weren't playing baseball, or if you weren't playing baseball, you didn't play baseball, what would Charlie Culberson be doing?
Well, I definitely wouldn't be golfing for a living. I love to golf, but it wouldn't be that. I always wanted to be like a financial advisor. I loved helping people. I love numbers. I love math. And so probably some type of financial advisor.
And now that you kind of dipped your toe in broadcasting media, is it harder to play or talk about the game for 3 hours? There's a lot of notes that you guys are taking. And
definitely harder to play.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't want to hit a Jacob deGrom slider. I joke with people like, who's the toughest pitcher? Jacob deGrom. It looks so easy, and it's like 99 on the black, and the sliders at 92. Change-ups, right? I mean, everything looked the same. I would definitely rather talk about baseball for 3 hours than have to try to go out there and perform.
Cool.
Did you? Who's the guy that got booed? Did you face Bauer, Trevor? Did you face him?
If I did, it was in spring training, never in the season. Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah.
You played during his spiel. I didn't know.
Yeah, during all that drama
everyone
stuff.
that he won a Cy Young, and everyone and I watch a lot of his YouTube videos, and I see some of his pitches. It's absolutely filthy what he does with the ball.
Well,
What
it's
he
even
does
tougher
with the
when you're
ball.
up there. I had a harder time with the slider.
Me too.
I could pick up a curveball. I'd rather hit off Nolan Ryan
Then off
than J.R. Richards. Nolan threw 100,
right.
and he had an attitude. Then he threw a curveball right here, and but I could see that better. J.R. Richard threw 97 with a little movement, and then 92-mile-an-hour slider.
I mean, that's like
And
unfair.
the slider looks like a fastball, and then you swing at it. And my dad used to say, son, because he's watching on TV, what'd you swing at that ball for? I said, Dad, it's different when you're facing it. It looks like a fastball, and then
On TV, it looks easy.
it does.
I mean, it looks easy on TV.
It's like, oh, why didn't? And then you put yourself back in that situation, like, oh yeah, it's really hard, but you can't see spin, and it misses your bat by 2
That's
feet.
whereas when you coach a kid, you have to understand that and remember
It was hard.
how tough.
Yep.
Well, the greatest hitters, Hall of Fame is filled up with 300 hitters. 7 out of 10 times they fail.
Yep.
And they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to fail. And you have to remember that as a coach. Hey,
Part of it.
I struck out once or twice too.
Yeah.
But
Hey, before we end, it was funny. One of the dads at our fraternity of men meeting this morning, grew up going to Braves games with his dad in the 70s and 80s. And he said, I told him that I was going to do a podcast with you today. And he's like, there was an awesome commercial, and it was Glenn Hubbard and Del Murphy. And it was them they had a close up on you guys. You might remember this. And he's like, this is our year that we're going to win.
oh, yeah.
And then they panned out, and you were on like a box.
Yep.
That
Because
right there, that picture right there, that has to be it.
oh, that's it. Yeah.
That has to be it.
So
You're on a box.
so you were on a box.
Well, Deion James is too.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. But because Dale's so big, and he's like,
Huge.
I remember that like it was yesterday. But seeing you on,
I think Goofy was a tall guy too.
Goofy was probably tall. That's
Yeah.
funny. But he's like, yeah, that's awesome. He said he went to all the games as a kid through the 70s and 80s, and but remembers that commercial. So I said, if I can, I'm going to bring it up and mention it to you.
I need to sign my snake card for him before you leave.
That'd be awesome. Yes, that would be a blast.
Well, he probably was able to buy tickets and go sit on front row.
Probably.
Well,
they were behind.
He jokingly says that like you could buy tickets outside and go sit in the front row seat because they couldn't.
It was disappointing. To
Yeah.
play in front of that.
But you're a big league ball player, though. But still.
Well, you're one of the.
Do you know you never thought about that though?
12,000.
Yeah, it's not a lot of guys that make it to MLB.
20. It's like a little over 20,000,
20,000.
22,000
It's like
people.
19,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It wouldn't fill up the ballpark.
Yeah.
18, 9.
Shows how much of a drop in the water that is. 1% of the 1% of the 1% make it to that level.
That's why when you make
Impressive.
it through the minor leagues, that grind, and you get one at bat, you've done something.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just tough.
I'll tell people too. Like sometimes people are saying, "Oh, you're too hard on yourself." I'm like, yeah, but you get to a certain level where you know that you're capable of doing something, and you can't really compare yourselves to Freddie Freeman. You can't compare yourselves to Bryce Harper or Mike Trout or some of these guys that are just so good. Yes, I was a good baseball player, and I guess, technically we were great compared to the grand scheme of things.
Right.
But I think that's just when I talk about that, it's more of like from a humble background,
Yeah.
Yeah,
a
well,
humble
so-
start. And I'm not going to toot my own horn. It's fun to talk about walk-off home runs and throws, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a baseball game. But it's hard to put yourself in conversations with those other guys, even though you're alike. Like, yeah, me and Shohei Ohtani played on the same field in the same game, but it's Shohei Ohtani. You got to give those guys respect.
Bro,
He's-
that guy.
Yeah,
He's
so
special. Well,
yeah, it's fun.
I mean, he's special.
Yeah.
Just to watch him
Ju-
do what he does.
It's like it's backyard baseball. Okay, I'm gonna go pitch a couple innings, and then I'm gonna play in the outfield, and I'm gonna hit 4 home runs, and I'm gonna steal 40 bags. That's
Yeah.
It's not normal.
It's like
He's in
you're
a league
playing,
of his
you're
own.
playing it. It's video game stats.
Yeah.
It's
It's in
I
the-
said
in the
that.
show.
I said that to Troy Tulowitzki one year. He won Player of the Month in April. And I said, "Dude, you're putting up video game numbers." He's like, "Charlie, I wouldn't do this one in a video game." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, you're good. But
He was good.
yeah, he was very good.
And Todd was unbelievable.
He was the man.
His bat was so quick. Like,
I'm glad he's in the Hall of Fame. He
yeah,
deserves it.
well, took,
Yeah,
I don't
took
know
a long time.
how. The numbers he put up,
Yeah, he was awesome.
just unbelievable.
Well, you said something about the voting. The voting is different now than it used to be, or it's
No, I think
Or-
it's still same.
not by it's by your peers,
No,
or you had
Sports
writers.
writers.
Yeah, so there's
Yep.
a
Well,
lot of bias in
in
that
Atlanta,
sometimes.
a guy who never came in the locker room got to vote on the Hall of Fame.
Wild. I'm sure that's another
And I'm like,
story for another
Well-
time, right? It's crazy. It's wild. It doesn't make sense.
Andrew Jones should be in the Hall of Fame. You look at his numbers compared to all the numbers of center fielders, and
Yep.
outfielders.
well. Chipper said if he had
He
if
should
he
be.
had an N and a Y on his jersey, he'd already been there. Chipper said if he had a Yankees jersey
Oh,
on, he would have already been there.
No, he'll get in next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, he better.
Oh
I
yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
But I mean, Charlie. Well, first off, thank you.
Yeah, no,
thank
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 you
you
guys.
guys
Yeah.
so much, man.
I mean,
This
hey,
is
good
great.
things come to those who wait, and we've been waiting on
We've
this
been
for
waiting.
a while.
I've been talking to
super
people and
excited
telling
about this.
people I know that you were coming on. I love the way he played. He so much energy, and
Well,
so,
and he's
thank
not
you.
he's not showing it, but there's one true fan. There's one true fanboy. He's like fanning out
I
right
don't know
now.
what you're talking about. Whatever.
Dude, when I told him that there was a possibility you were coming on, you're joking. You
Yeah.
are no way.
Pretty
no way.
excited.
I just,
mean,
had, I just had to keep on waiting.
Right.
You got to build the suspense.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
My wife is probably this morning. I was taking her to work this morning, and she's like, "Run me through it. What are you guys gonna be talking about?" And a couple things, like his time with other teams in San Francisco. The Dodgers. He played for the Dodgers. I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I've always think of Charlie in an Atlanta uniform. Period.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't see him in anything else." And I was like, "Well, he had amazing years here."
No, that's
So-
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I definitely had
Yeah.
the bulk of my career here in
Yeah.
Atlanta, and then a couple of years in Texas. But yeah, I was grateful to be traded from the Dodgers to the Braves.
Yeah.
And then being able to play for this team, and
Yeah.
grew up playing for the Braves, and it's funny how things work.
Yeah.
But from Calhoun Dirt Fields to the walk-off moments in Atlanta, I mean, your story's kind of woven into the fabric of the whole Braves country fan base. But obviously, what we kind of wanted to highlight on the show, and I think we did an okay job of it today, is that like you realize that the home runs and the highlights are just the surface of who you really are as a man, a father, a husband, a son, the legacy that you carried on with your father's name attached to it, and you did a good job of not necessarily living under his own his shadow, but you created your own by living the life of integrity and just hard work and grit and determination. And, obviously, just a Georgia boy who still enjoys, being at home in the woods as much as you do being at the stadium. So in a world that chases fame, I think you remind all of us that the quiet things in life still obviously matter. Showing up, loving everybody with the same love that Christ loved us. Because when we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And then staying grounded, obviously, when you're around all the fans here in the Atlanta area, but just from personally myself and my dad and Louise, we just want to thank you for sharing your heart with us today, and then sharing it with all the subscribers in Braves country. So, I just want to say thank you for coming by outside the Diamonds.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I tell my kids, you talking about being famous. I told my kids, like, it's not great to be famous. I want to be famous in my house.
I want that's where it matters.
I want to be famous to my kids,
Right.
but not in like look up to me way. Like, it's great to be known, but you want to be known for the right reasons.
Right. Yeah.
I want to be known for the right reasons. I want to treat people well. I want to be treated well, but I'm going to take care of my wife and kids. And as a father and a husband, you want to try to do the best that you can every single day to lead them down the right path.
I think your whole story kind of mirrors that. Everything that he did, he never complained. There was no bite backs. It was just he kind of lived by a mantra: just shut up and work. So it's just you exemplify kind of the life that he had. It's just
a good
work.
Foundation.
Yeah, you just
Your
work.
parents did well.
Yeah, they did great. Work.
And
no one cares about complainers, right?
And you're passing that on to your kids, which is fantastic.
The seeds you're planting now by your life and how you serve and how you carry yourself, those seeds will take water, and they will sprout, and they will produce fruits down the road.
Well, what you guys are doing here is great. Sorry it took me so long.
No worries,
But
that's fine, man.
You talked about the setup and the bats and the balls, and I said, yeah, I got a little mixer and my headphone and microphone, but it's on the ground in my office. But maybe I can get it rolling again. But no, this is phenomenal. Thank you again.
Well, like I said, we just wanted to have a show that was just like being in the locker room, just sitting around talking, hanging out with the boys. And I just thank you, because I know you traveled here. Just thank you so much for your time, for coming.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys.
You want to close it out?
Yeah. So don't forget, guys, like, subscribe, give Charlie, a follow on his stuff as well. Show him some love and support. And we will see you guys on the next one.